Hi, friends. This is attorney Marina Shepelsky, starting my immigration live today. Immigration news of this week. And oh boy, do I have amazing news for you today. Uh, and, it's definitely something you guys have been asking me about over and over again. For those who are just joining me, welcome and thank you. I'm New York-based immigration attorney Marina Shepelsky. And even though I was going to talk about immigration news this week, the biggest immigration news came out today, just now. And I'm going to wait for a couple more people to join me because I am seeing that I only have 3 people watching, and I don't know. I'm doing this through StreamYard. I want more people to join before I start talking about the big immigration news today, having to do with the immigration reform that everyone has been looking forward to, and it's finally happening. And I'm just going to keep saying hello and waiting for more people to join before I start talking about it. But just to let you know, I was on vacation last week and I took my children to Florida. We have a little place in Florida, in Miami area called, the town is actually called Hollywood, but it's in Miami area. Drop some comment below talking about whether do you have kids and where do you take your kids on vacation. If you do, when you have the opportunity. And I can tell you that my vacation was, I guess, good, but as the parents here know, when you bring your kids on vacation, it's a vacation for the kids. But the parent has to run around, always busy with entertaining the kids, feeding the kids, getting the kids to clean up, get dressed, put on their bathing suit, and go outside. So, I find myself yelling a lot. Sometimes I feel like a bad parent. So we went and stayed in our condo in Miami, and the beach is right downstairs, and it's a very small apartment. Like where we live in New Jersey is much bigger. We have a big house. Everybody has their own room. But in Miami, it's a 1-bedroom apartment. So my husband and I are in the bedroom. The kids are all in the living room. We have those pull-out couches. They're not unhappy, but everybody's on top of each other. There's just one shower. And I spent a lot of time food shopping, feeding them, and making sure they all get dressed and get the flack out of the house, because that's all they want to do. They want to be on their phones and they want to stay in the apartment. And then you have to remind them what's going on in reality to get them to leave, right? So, if you guys have those kinds of problems with your kids, drop me a comment below. This social media stuff is not a joke. Kids are super addicted to TikToks and tutorials and all this crap, and nobody wants to read a book anymore. It's really hard. But anyway, now I have more people watching. I'm going to start talking about the big immigration reform that came out today. So the U.S. House of Representatives, which is 1/2 of Congress. So the U.S. Congress consists of 2 big parts. One is the House of Representatives. Each state, according to its size, elects representatives to represent the amount of people who lives there. So big states like Texas, like California, like New York have a lot of representatives from that state. The other half of the Congress is Senate. The Senate, unlike the House of Representatives, has 2 senators from every state. So even a tiny little state like Rhode Island has 2 senators representing them, just like New York or Texas or California, right? So they balance each other out. It's the constitutional system of checks and balances. So the House of Representatives passed a bill today, a sweeping social spending budget reconciliation bill for the next year that included $1 billion set aside, earmarked for immigration reform. That's right, it passed. Now, let's not get too excited for 2 reasons before I get into all the details. Reason number 1, not to be excited yet, because it hasn't passed the Senate yet. The Senate is the one that actually presents it to the president to be signed, and I have no doubt that President Biden will sign it, but it has to pass through Senate first. That's reason number 1. And reason number 2, and I'll explain more about this later, obviously, but it's not a pathway to a green card. like we were hoping to be, a pathway to citizenship. It's a pathway to a temporary status, like DACA was a temporary status. Okay, so let me get right in. First of all, the name of this new budget plan is called Build Back Better Act. And Build Back Better meaning, it refers to COVID and rebuilding after the pandemic, okay? So Build Back Better Act includes the following immigration reform provisions. Number one, work permits and temporary parole, which means a deferred action, protection from deportation for the 7 million people out of the 11 million undocumented people we estimate live in the United States today. For 7 million people who have been in the United States since at least January 1, 2011 and before. So anyone who came into America with visa, without, came and left, whatever, before January 1, 2011 will get a work permit and deferred action from being deported, which means they will have an employment authorization that says they cannot be deported if they don't do crimes, okay? Now, people who will get this work permit will not be deportable, will get a social, will get state ID, driver's license. They will be working legally. They will be paying taxes. They will be able to buy private health insurance. Maybe some of them will be able to get, government insurance and whatever, but they will become visible. This is 7 million people who are under the radar and invisible to the government. They don't have a right to work. They don't have a right to drive legally. They're sort of the invisible people, and there's a lot of them. Out of those 7 million, they estimate that about 1.5 million, so 1.5 million, have a relative here who is a green card holder or a U.S. citizen, and they will be able to legalize through them. So once they get this work permit and this new deferred action status, they will be able to go on and legalize through their green card holder or U.S. citizen children or spouses or in some other way, okay? Number 2 provision is green card and immigrant visa numbers will be recaptured. Since 1992, there's a lot of unused visas available for people to have been used for green cards, authorized by Congress. They were just never used for whatever reason. Congress authorized them, but the U.S. Department of State and USCIS didn't use them. So they remain available. They're out there for use. Okay, so those will be recaptured and used in the following way. For people who already filed 2 or more years back for employment-based green cards, that's usually perm. So if anybody is waiting for a perm-based green card for 2+ years, they will be able to pay the $5,000 supplemental expediting fee, or like a penalty, if you may, and they will be able to waive the annual and per country quotas. So not only they're waiving the time, but they will be able to waive out, get out of the quotas based on where they're coming from. And they will be able to skip the line and get their green card much sooner. And in some cases, that's like decades, tens of years sooner than they would have otherwise, okay? Number 2, under the same category, family-based petitions for people who have been waiting for a green card through a family member for 2 years or more will be able to waive out of the backlog and skip the line if they pay the $2,500 supplemental expediting fee. So yes, that's a big amount, but believe me, I talk to people all the time. They could scrape this money together if they were promised with this new law that they will skip the years of waiting. The family will pull the money together, especially the U.S. relatives who are filing They'll scrape the money together and help them. And the final part of this immigration provision, as it's looking right now, and again, this is just a proposal, but it passed. So it's already on the Congress floor for discussion, is that they will be able to protect green cards for diversity visa lottery winners. These are people who won the DV lottery, who won and had the numbers selected and began processing for visas or even went to interviews, but were prevented from entering the United States by Trump's administration due to the travel bans, due to the COVID-related financial assistance maybe they got. So the new bill proposes to reverse that Trump rule and give those diversity lottery winners the green cards they deserve because they won them. So they have a right to them. And of course, we'll see how this plays out. The final two things I want to say about this is whether or not these provisions become the final law is yet to be seen. It's not clear if all of these will make it to the final versions of the law, but it's definitely going to be discussed by Senate beginning in December. So that was the other thing. Starting in December, they will start discussing this into making a real law out of this, an act that's going to be called the Build Back Better Act. Okay? The other big immigration news is that our country is once again open to international travelers who can enter if they're fully vaccinated. So people who are fully vaccinated and have proof of this can now come into the United States. And when I was traveling last week out of New Jersey, the airport is buzzing. It's busy like before. It's crazy, and people are traveling once again. The funny thing from people, for people who are from countries that use the Russian vaccine or Chinese vaccine, is that you will have to get another vaccine to enter United States, because the United States will only recognize and allow people to enter who got the Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, or Moderna American-made vaccines. So if you got the Sputnik 5, or if you got the Chinese vaccine or any other version of the vaccine, it's not good enough for America. You have to get, in addition to that, the American vaccine, and then you can enter. So that's the other big immigration news this week. There's smaller pieces of news, like they added some addresses, some additional lock boxes for mailing in forms, but you know, you could just go on USCIS website and take a look and see how that works. Another thing that I wanted to discuss is that I had a lot of questions this week for who VAWA, and even though VAWA wasn't the topic I was going to discuss today, real quick, if your spouse is not a U.S. citizen but does have a green card, but you are still undocumented, you don't have papers, your spouse is a green card holder, you can absolutely file for VAWA. You're eligible for VAWA even if your spouse is not a U.S. citizen. And I had so many questions this week about this. I said, okay, let me talk about this in my video, in my live, because I feel like some people think it's only if your spouse is a citizen that you can qualify for VAWA. VAWA is for people who are in a bad abusive marriage to either a green card holder or a U.S. citizen. And it doesn't matter if you came into America without a visa. It doesn't matter if you came and you came back and you left and you came back, or if you have old deportations. VAWA forgives this. And the minimal you're going to get, the minimal, if you win VAWA, you're going to get deferred protection from deportation. So you're not going to be deportable anymore. In addition to that, I have successfully filed motions and reopened old deportations and got people green cards now, despite having an old deportation. So if you have anything like that, welcome. We'll be happy to work with you. Give us a call. Okay. I will start saying hello to people like I usually do. And some of my loyal viewers they log in early and they'll leave comments and say hello. So I'm going to say hello. MD Mahafaz says hello. He says hello. I don't know what else he's saying. This is Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Hello, Tassin. God is great. Says hi. Marina, love your show. Very informative. Thank you so much. Can I apply my green card? My son born in U.S., but we live in India 10 years ago. I never came back in USA. We came legal way, came to U.S. I have a tourist visa. Can I apply? If you have a child who is born in the U.S., but you are not in U.S. right now, you cannot file. You have to wait for your kid to turn 21 and file for you. Amnesty coming. Wilson, yes, there's an amnesty coming. I just talked about it. It's not yet a way to a green card, but it's a work permit with status. So I think you'll be happy. Can I adjust my status in USA after granted prosecutorial discretion? Aziz, give us a call. We can talk about it, see what we can do for you. Before I get into this, I had a topic planned for today, and the topic was who can green card holders file family petitions for, right? So a lot of people watching are green card holders, or they have a family member in the United States who's already a green card holder. Not a citizen yet, but a green card holder. So there are a few categories, a few, not all, but a few categories for green card holders, okay? Green card holders can file for their kids under 21, spouses, so husband and wife, and kids over 21 who are still single. So if you have an unmarried child and you're a green card holder, you can file for them. It's going to take like 6 years, but you can file for them. If you have a wife or a husband, you can file for them. If they're in status in the United States, you can file for a green card right away. And the same kids under 21. So there's a few categories for green card holders. And also, as I mentioned earlier, if you are in a bad, struggling marriage with a green card holder, through that marriage, even if you needed a waiver for a regular marriage case, for VAWA abuse case, you don't need any waivers. You could just file for VAWA and get a green card. VAWA takes a long time, 3 to 4 years sometimes, not for everybody. Sometimes they go through in a year, but some people wait 3 to 4 years. The good things about VAWA is you no longer need this abusive spouse to sign anything for you, to go to any interviews. They will never know about this. It's a strongly protected secret. It's a confidential process. If you don't blab and you don't open your mouth, nobody will ever find out about it, all right? So let's go back to my Q&A. Alexander says, hello, everyone. Hi. Vadim says, can they change the date? I don't know what he's asking about. Which date? Mahesh says, hi from Texas. Hi, I'm Marina from New Jersey. Recently went to Florida, but came back with my kids. Antoine says, if call you, do I have to pay for asking questions? Yes. So let me say a couple of words about calling our office. We are a private law firm. We're not an organization. We're a private law firm. We charge for consultations. You might have to do a consultation with one of my team members. I train everybody myself. They're all attorneys or specialists in immigration law who are highly knowledgeable. I train everybody myself. We discuss all the difficult things together. We have meetings every week, and every day we discuss everything in immigration. So they're on top of their stuff. It's a paid consultation, $230. Thank you for asking. Adriana says, when you say that the people that have children or spouse will qualify for a green card under Plan C, are you saying that even if the children are under 21? Yes, absolutely. If the children are under 21, you will qualify. Sanam says, hi from India. Hello. Alexander has a question. Alexander says, question. Hello, Marina. What about the elderly people, say 70 years old? Can they retire if they'll pay taxes for the last 5 years? Thank you very much. I don't think so. This new reform doesn't talk about people who are older. or wait for them to get status and get a U.S. pension. As of right now, to get a Social Security retirement pension or Social Security disability, you have to be a U.S. citizen. If you're not a U.S. citizen, there's no reform for that. Viraj says, my son is 11 years old. Can I apply for a green card? If you're talking about being here over 10 years, you can qualify for cancellation of removal and apply for a green card through immigration court. Give us a call. We can help. Tatiana says, hi. Hi, Tatiana. Hello from New Jersey. Oh, I'm from New Jersey too. Hello. Hello. How are you? Let's see. Jesus Castro says, he is in 601 waiver process. How long before I hear anything? Waivers take an incredibly long time sometimes. It depends where you live and where you filed this. It could be from 1 year to 3. I've seen them. Wilson says, awesome show. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I know you watch us every week. Thanks for coming back. Viraj says, hi. He's very upset. He told me I go back to my country. He cannot go to school properly and depressed every time. Give us a call. It's not the kind of thing we want to talk about on the air. I'm not allowed to give legal advice here. I just give information. Aziz says, what is the importance of prosecutorial discretion? So prosecutorial discretion means you had a deportation case and they decided to close it. You don't have any status, but at least you're not getting deported. So it doesn't have any way to get a work permit or anything like that. And if you want a green card, you're going to have to go back and make a motion to reopen your case. Otherwise, there's nothing that can happen without going back to reopen it. But for many people, if they have to wait for something, it's good to get prosecutorial discretion and close the case. It's like putting it on ice, freezing it. That's called prosecutorial discretion, because if they don't freeze it, they'll just get deported and they have to leave. Sanam says, can I hire a lawyer to speed up my I-730 case? I-730 is a petition to unify with your spouse and kids when you already won asylum. So a person that wins asylum files a family petition for their family, and they come in with asylum status when it gets to the embassy. There's really no way right now to expedite the I-730. It's delayed because of COVID, and everybody's waiting the same, okay? Vadim is asking about the new immigration reform. He says, can they change the date from 2011 to a later date, let's say 2015? Who knows? When it goes to Senate in December, there will still be discussions about changing this proposal for law, and they might change it 2015. I'm hopeful, maybe. Ina says, hi. Hi, Ina. My mother is a green card holder and disabled. If parole plan C passed, can I adjust my status after getting work permit inside USA? I'm a married child over 21. You might be able to do it. You'll probably first get the work permit status if you're without status under the first section of this law. And then when your mom files for you, I don't know if she filed for you already, and you wait 2 years, you might be able to get a green card through the second part of this. The problem is that you will probably need a waiver. So if your mom is disabled, you might be in good shape to win the waiver. You need a waiver because when a green card holder files for a family member and the family member is out of status in the United States for some time, you need a waiver for that unlawful presence. If you're here over 6 months, you have a 10-year bar, so you cannot file for anything. Or if you leave, you can't come back for 10 years. So for that, you will need a waiver. It's going to be a complicated case. Give us a call when you're ready. Gurpreet says, I'm sorry. Hello, ma'am. I have a deportation asylum case and I'm married to a U.S. citizen. What is the best you can do? Give us a call. I will walk you through it, or one of my lawyers will walk you through it. You will have to file the family petition. You will have to let the court know if you are in court. If you're not in court, oh no, wait, he has a deportation asylum. So I don't know if you are in active a case or you already had a deportation. But regardless, you will have to file the I-130 family petition. And then if you give us a call, we can walk through the steps, what the next step is. But the first thing you should do is get all your paperwork together and have your U.S. citizen spouse file the I-130 petition for you. And then you go from there. Antoine says, can I ask to have my interview in the USA if my is not okay to travel? Usually what's going on, because I don't understand from this question if your country is not okay to travel, but you can't come to the United States if you don't have a visa. So if you have a U.S. tourist visa, you can come here. After 90 days, ask to file the green card here if your visa is ready to be processed. Give us a call, because I don't know the answer 100% here, since I don't have all the details. Jana Tulmito says, can siblings of U.S. citizens who are here use the waiver with the 2500 in the new immigration reform and do adjustment of status under Plan C? I think that you can, but it's very, very limited, these waivers. And the waivers are usually for when the U.S. citizen would suffer undue hardship if they had to follow you to your country. Siblings, the relationship is considered, I'm talking about immigration law. Immigration law in the United States considers siblings kind of like the last category. So the immediate relative relationship is kind of, distant. Like they consider kids and parents to be much closer relatives than brothers and sisters. So I don't know how that will affect your waiver, but let's see what happens, okay? Gurpreet is asking me if I have an office in New Jersey. Right now, I do not. My office is in New York, but we're in like an easy, accessible area in Brooklyn. We have all kinds of public transportation. I've thought about opening in New Jersey because I live here, but I have a big team in New York, and I don't want to leave them alone there, number one. Number two, there's a lot less people who are in New Jersey than are in New York. New York is a hub. It's easier to come. We have clients from Pennsylvania, from Connecticut coming, and New Jersey is going to be a little harder for them than New York. New York, you jump on the train, there's buses, So for now, it's only in New York. Avrail says a driver-only license. They said it should not be used as a federal ID. What does that mean? A federal ID is used in certain cases when you need federal ID. So if somebody's asking for federal ID, your driver license won't work. But a non-driver license or driver license type ID can be used for domestic flying between states inside the United States. Vadim says, if I apply for cancellation of removal, can I get a travel document? No, you cannot. Jesus says, let's give Marina a bunch of, thank you so much. You can leave comments, by the way, if you have questions for future shows for me to discuss, or if you want to talk about kids and traveling with your children, because I had a lot to deal with when I was away with my kids. Sometimes, don't tell anybody. Sometimes it's better for me to just go to work and do my thing. It's easier to do work as a lawyer than be a mom of 3 kids on vacation. That's right, I said it. God is great, says Marina. Can a nephew file for an aunt who's already here to get a permanent status if they get the parole that just passed the House? Unfortunately, there's no category for aunts and nephews. Sanam says, thank you. You're very welcome. Adriano says, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Viraj keeps asking questions. That's good. I have overstayed in the U.S. 2.5 years and back to my country. It will be removed or not. It depends. You should give us a call. We'll see. It's hard for me to give like real legal advice here, in this type of environment. This is not conducive to giving legal advice. Ogari says hello, hi. Asif says hi. Can we travel outside U.S. with parole? I don't know yet. We'll see how it all works out. Annie Kai says, hi, I'm from Jamaica. My mom filed for me over 2 years ago, but I'm in F3 category. How long I will have to wait? F3 category right now, I can look it up for you, and you go to Google current visa bulletin, so you can look it up yourself. That's what I'm doing. I'm Googling current visa bulletin on my computer since I'm doing the stream on my phone. I look up F3 category. F3 is married sons or daughters of U.S. citizens. And as of right now, if you're from Jamaica, you're in the all chargeability areas, and they're working on a petition or petitions, multiple ones, filed as of November 22, 2008. So as you can tell, it's a 13-year waiting line, okay? And if you were inside the United States, I think this new immigration reform might work for you to skip the line if you paid the $2,500 extra expediting supplemental fee. But we don't know if that's going to pass. If it doesn't pass, as of right now, you still have to wait like approximately another 10 to 11 years, unfortunately. Mazdarto says, hello, thanks for the good job. Oh, thank you. Please, can I send more proof that I had after responding to RFE and VAWA? Am I also able to travel on parole on work authorization? Okay, VAWA allows you to send more proofs even if you already responded to an RFE. So if you have good paperwork and good documents, you can send more for VAWA. If you never had a prior deportation and your lawyer had filed for an advanced parole for you, and you got it, you can travel on the advanced parole to your country. I don't recommend traveling to other countries. They might turn you away, okay? If you have VAWA questions, give us a call at the office. We can give you more details. Alban says, can a deported parent go back to his family? With a waiver, maybe. So you can give us a call. We can talk about filing a family petition with a waiver. Carlene says, hi, Marina. Can my U.S. citizen sister apply for me using the $2,500 waiver under Plan C? Maybe. You have to file first, wait 2 years, and then do that. Jules Carleone says, hello. If someone has a final order of deportation, can you apply for parole? Is it passed without risk? We will see, okay? I'm not sure if this new immigration reform can be applied for people already deported. So you went through the system and you got deported. I'm not yet sure if it will be applicable. Okay, we'll see. We have to wait. Jatender says, hi, great work. Are you doing? How you doing? Hi. I have a question. My father is a U.S. citizen and he wants to sponsor me, but I have an unmarried kid of 21. Can he sponsor us both? Your father definitely can sponsor you, but your petition, if your child is already 21, cannot include him. So you're going to have to wait first you to get a green card, and you will have to sponsor your child who is now over 21 separately later, okay? Lucas says, hi, I overstayed my student visa due to the passing of my wife in 2018. Is there hope for me to renew my student visa and go back to school and complete my study? It's been a long time, I'll be honest with you. 3 years is a long time. I'm not sure if there's a real chance. I know when it's like 6 to 8 months gap, people go back to their school and the school files a new service certificate and helps get a visa. But in your case, it's been so long, I'm not sure that's going to work. Muyiwa says, my family case was denied. Can I benefit from immigration reform if it passes, if the year is changed to 2020? I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to change to 2020. Haas says, removing procedure, my court date is in February 2022. while my VAWA is pending? What will happen with my court date or procedure? I hope you have a lawyer. Your lawyer has to write to the court. February 22 is only 3 months from now. Okay, so I ask you to have your lawyer write to court and ask them to adjourn, reschedule your court hearing while your VAWA is still pending. VAWAs can be pending for 3 years. So they either can put you for now on a status docket, which is like freezing the case, but you just have to check in with court without going in, okay? Or you could just ask them to reschedule this case. You should have your lawyer look into this. If you don't have an attorney, I'm happy to help. I'm sorry, the screen went dark. So I was going to say, if you don't have a lawyer, we can help you both with the VAWA and the court case. Give us a call. But if you have a lawyer, talk to your lawyer about rescheduling. Okay, I have time for 2 more, and then I'm running out of steam, and I'm going to sign off. Okay. Yasser says, didn't know about VAWA, got divorced 6 years ago. Can I file for VAWA now? No, VAWA can only be filed within 2 years after the divorce. And Tuan says, I have an I-130 approval since 2019, but I can't travel to my country, Haiti, for an interview. Can I request to have my interview in the USA? Oh, if you're in the US, you might need a waiver. Give us a call to get more details. Vadim says, thank you. Lucas says, thank you for answering my question. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And if you didn't tune in early enough, I'm going to summarize and sign off. Big news today. Immigration reform, and some form of it, did pass. So, immigration news today is that House of Representatives passed a sweeping social spending budget plan. It's a money proposal for a law that included immigration reform provisions. Certain parts were for immigration. First of all, they've set aside, they dedicated $1 billion for immigration reform. The name of this whole spending plan is Build Back Better Act. They said, first of all, there will be work permits and temporary protections from deportations for people who came before January 1, 2011. And they will be able to legalize of those people. If you have a U.S. citizen relative or green card holder relative, you will be able to get a green card. But it is not what we were hoping for. It's not a green card-based pathway to citizenship. Second, green card visa numbers will be recaptured. So whatever wasn't used by the Department of State and USCIS and even immigration courts pull out those visas. Since 1992, they will be able to use for employment-based green card applicants who've been waiting for work green card for over 2 years. If those people pay $5,000 expediting supplemental fee, and for family-based green card applicants who've been waiting for 2 or more years for their family petitions to be approved, and they will have to pay $2,500 as a supplemental expediting fee. And finally, they said people who got diversity lottery green cards, visas, I should say, but because of Trump, never were able to come in, should be able to get those. And the Trump's denials in those cases based on the travel bans and the COVID-related financial assistance should be reversed, undone, canceled. 2 final things. We don't know if this is going to become law. We don't know if the year, the cutoff year, which is right now January 1, 2011, will change. I had a few people asking me about that. We don't know how it's going to look in its final form, but we do know that this will hit Senate to begin discussion on this immigration reform in December 2011. I'm going to go and have a cocktail now to enjoy my weekend. Actually, I have a work meeting after this. I'm just joking with you guys, okay? I'm just trying to make this more fun. stay on our channel, check out our other videos. I do a lot of free how to do it yourself informational videos on family petitions, VAWA, asylum, motions to reopen, appeals. We love your most complicated immigration cases. We take them. They're not free. We get money for our work. We get money for our consultations. If that works for you, you're investing in your future. I explained this to somebody yesterday. Paying a good attorney to finish your immigration case and get you a green card is investing not just in your own future in the United States, which, let's face it, if you're watching this like me, you believe the United States is number one in the world to live in and to raise your kids in. You're investing in your own future, and you're investing in the future of your kids and their kids. Your grandchildren are part of this. You understand? You might not even have kids yet. And if you take care of your status, get a green card, and become a U.S. citizen, you will have kids and grandkids born here and have the opportunities to live in a free country where mostly they can speak their mind and say what they want, practice their religion, have freedom of speech, get the jobs they deserve based on the education and hard work they do. And that's not like in anywhere else in the world. I'm sorry, but that's true. Even Europe, you don't have many of the benefits that you get in America. I wish you good night and the rest of your Friday. Maybe you're in a country right now where it's already night. So I wish you good night. If you're in our time zone, have a great afternoon and have a wonderful weekend. I won't see you until after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all those celebrating, okay? I want to give thanks for my job and for my family and having social media to give me a voice to talk to you guys and break down the most complicated immigration concepts into super simple information that you guys can absorb and take to your families and get a great benefit of understanding how this stuff works. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.